Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a blessed Sunday. And in the news this morning, Fisherman acquitted after 5-day jail ordeal for stealing own car. Attorneys representing Portmore St. Catherine resident Dwayne Leckie say they are prepared to explore all options in their pursuit of compensation after Leckie was arrested and thrown into jail for 5 days by cops who accused him of stealing his own car. The incident took place on August 27, 2022, but it wasn't until last Friday, after numerous court appearances, mounting legal fees, and the significant stress, that Leckie ultimately charged with resisting arrest, assaulting a constable, and indecent exposure, was acquitted of all charges in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court. All options are open and possible, said Brittany Lee Johnson, one of the attorneys. Leckie, a fisherman who also drives a tow truck and works as a mechanic to make ends meet, has faced a significant hardship, Johnson told the news. This case is just bizarre. That's the only way I can put it to you. There is no other way, she said. Leckie recounted the harrowing events from that morning when he was standing next to his black Toyota Mark X, parked in a designated spot on Port Royal Street in downtown Kingston, waiting for his girlfriend. While there, he said he was approached by the police in a service vehicle who accused him of stealing the car he was beside. Despite reportedly showing them documents proving ownership of the vehicle, the officers arrested Leckie and took him to the Kingston Central Police Station. At the station, despite a confirmation that the vehicle's chassis and engine numbers matched his documents, the police reportedly demanded access to his phone. When he refused, Leckie claimed that the officers pepper sprayed and brutally beat him, resulted in a fractured left hand. After receiving treatment at the Kingston Public Hospital, Leckie was returned to a cell where he endured 5 painful days in custody. Nighttime in the cell was particularly difficult, Leckie remembered. With only 3 concrete bunks in a small room, shared with several other detainees, those who arrived first got to claim a bunk, while newcomers like him were forced to take turns sleeping. His injured hand made it especially hard to sleep, and he was allowed a bunk by fellow inmates who sympathized with him. The conditions in the lockup were appalling, he added, with inmates using water bottles to urinate after having to wait until morning to relieve their bladders. He is still haunted by the whole experience, he told the news. Because I didn't do anything and I found myself in lockup, so that by itself was traumatizing. You would be saying the police are supposed to protect and serve you, but it was like they were abusing my rights, charged Leckie. He added that in jail, when night comes, it is like they cannot come fast enough. I slept on a little concrete bunk thing, and my hand did broke, so you know I'm in pain, and it was uncomfortable. The place is so small that you can't even turn. And when you use that bottle to urinate, you can't let it touch anybody, otherwise it's a war. I got some pain medication, and when I take them, I fall asleep for a little, and shortly after that, is pain waking me up again. He said of his experience, adding that there were rats and roaches, and the air was thick with unpleasant smells. He said he is happy that the chapter is now over. It is a joy because I was so stressed over the whole situation. It's more than words can even explain, he said. I feel so happy to get over this hurdle. This was causing a lot of headaches and sleepless nights. Yesterday, the divisional commander for the Kingston Central Police Division, Superintendent Beresford Williams, confirmed to the news that he was at the division in 2022, but said he was unaware of the incident and the court case. Judge Simone Walker McFarlane acquitted Leckie of the charges. Johnson said the judge questioned the actions of the arresting officers, noting that they failed to say why he was suspected to be stealing the car and that they would have verified the vehicle documents at the scene. This judgment echoes the provisions as promulgated by the Constitution of Jamaica that citizens should never be arbitrarily arrested, as that is simply unlawful, noted Johnson, adding that the case serves as a reminder that police officers must act within the law. There was no evidence to substantiate an arrest, any at all. Why was he arrested? Why was he detained for 5 days? Why did the police officers break his hand? There is so much injustice in this case, she said, expressing astonishment at the witnesses in the Crown's case, particularly during cross-examination. Prime Minister's business partner Norman Brown drops the case against the IC. Norman Brown, business partner of Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, has withdrawn his case against the Integrity Commission, citing a wish to protect his reputation amid the intense media scrutiny the matter has generated. I have withdrawn because if I was to succeed, it would be well. I'm calling it a Pyrrhic victory, and I think that a similar case is already there, he said, noting that some of the issues he aimed to challenge are already part of Holness's ongoing legal challenge against Jamaica's main anti-corruption body and the 2017 law that established it. Brown had sought judicial review of sections of an Integrity Commission report that questioned this company's tax compliance and the potential conflicts of interest arising from his chairmanship of two state agencies, the Urban Development Corporation and the Housing Agency of Jamaica, that report to Holness. While the court allowed him to challenge the tax-related findings, it rejected his bid to contest the report's comments on potential conflicts of interest. The report suggested that the similarities between the two state agencies that Brown chairs and his relationship with the Prime Minister pose significant conflict of interest concerns. Brown expressed disappointment with the court's ruling on the conflict of interest issue, which was a central part of his claim. I would have gone for it, he told the news on Friday, referring to his approach had he been allowed to pursue the conflict of interest issue. In his first public comments since the court ruling, Brown expressed concern over the reputational damage caused by the media coverage. We know the culture of the political space in Jamaica is that once you attach my name to something, then people make up their own narratives about these things, Brown said, adding that the Integrity Commission could have conveyed their message about any of this matter without putting me in the middle of it for nothing. So I deem it quite unfair. But you know that's the nature of a bad law. People's reputation and integrity must mean something as well. The withdrawal comes just weeks before the first hearing in his judicial review case, which was scheduled for February 25. The substantive matter would likely have been set for after Holness's case, which is due to start on October 13. Speculation has arisen that Brown's decision could be linked to avoiding a sensitive issue linked to the Prime Minister that might provide fodder in a general election campaign, with the polls expected by September. However, Brown denied this, insisting, "But there can't be a campaign issue. What have I done?" He noted that the judge had ruled that the IC's Director of Investigation had not found actual wrongdoing or conflict of interest on his part. The IC confirmed on Friday that it was advised by its attorneys that Brown did not file his claim for judicial review by the January 29 deadline, and that his lawyer has indicated that Brown would no longer pursue the case. The commission will make no further comment on the matter at this time. A full statement will be issued in due course, said IC Executive Director Greg Christie. A judicial review allows the court to examine the legality of decisions. The merits of a decision are not assessed. In Jamaica, persons have to get permission from the court to apply for judicial review. Brown's legal challenge stemmed from the IC's report on Prime Minister Holness's finances, particularly focusing on the tax filings of Estate Bridge Development Limited, a company in which Brown is a shareholder. The report raised the concerns about Estate Bridge's interest income in 2021 and its nil tax returns, which were referred to Tax Administration Jamaica. Brown argued that the findings were unfair and violated natural justice, as he was not given the chance to respond to the tax-related concerns before the report's public release. The court had allowed him to challenge these tax-related claims, but the review of the potential conflict of interest comments was dismissed. Justice Althea Jarrett, the same judge who has ruled in the case brought by Holness, ruled that the comments did not adversely affect Brown's reputation and were not judicially reviewable. She said Stevenson did not assert any actual conflict of interest and that Brown's arguments suggesting otherwise were inaccurate. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.